Welcome to the MBA Book Club, the podcast where big ideas meet boardroom ambition. Each week, we explore essential reads for business leaders, from timeless MBA classics to bold new takes on leadership, strategy, innovation, and more. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, launching your next venture, or sharpening your skills in the classroom, this is your go-to guide for the book shaping business thinking. Get ready to learn faster, lead smarter, and never fall behind the curve. This is the MBA Book Club.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
Yes, welcome.
This is where we really try to break down those essential business reads. Cut through the noise and give you the insights you can actually use on your leadership path.
And today we're tackling a really key one, The Culture Map by Erin Meyer.
Absolutely essential reading, I think.
It really is. Meyer, she's a professor at INSEAD, and she gives us this incredibly useful framework for understanding all those invisible cultural currents in global business.
Right.
Her main point, which sounds simple but is so often missed, is that basic common sense. It's just not common across cultures. What seems normal to you might be confusing or honestly even offensive somewhere else.
And that's exactly why this is such a critical deep dive for our MBA Book Club listeners. I mean, whether you're prepping for an MBA, just graduated, maybe managing your first international team.
Or even if you're seasoned, right? The global landscape keeps shifting.
Exactly. This is your shortcut to getting a handle on it. So, our mission today, to really boil down the core ideas from the culture map. We want to give you practical stuff, things you can, think about tomorrow.
Meyer lays out 8 dimensions of cultural difference. Really practical.
And by the end of this, you'll have a clearer map, so to speak, for navigating global business wherever your career's heading.
It's not just knowing the differences, but understanding why they matter. For you, as a leader, how to turn that awareness into action.
Okay, let's do it. Let's peel back the layers on these 8 dimensions. First up, and it's a big one, communication. Low context versus high context.
Yeah, this one's fundamental. It really changes how you talk and maybe more importantly, how you listen.
So low context, that's like the US, Germany. Very explicit.
Exactly. Direct, clear. You say what you mean, you spell it out. No hidden messages, ideally.
Okay.
But then high context cultures, Japan, China, many others, so much meaning is implicit. It's in the pauses, the tone, who's speaking.
Reading between the lines.
Totally. You need the shared background, the context, to get the full message.
So for a leader, figuring out when to say more or less isn't just personality, it's cultural fluency.
It's crucial.
Meyer talks about this case, right? An American tech team working with a Japanese partner.
Oh yeah, the software integration one. Classic example.
The Americans wanted clear, explicit feedback. Yes or no. Deadlines. But they just got nods. Politeness.
Everything is fine.
Right, and the project just stalled for months.
Yeah.
Americans were baffled.
But for the Japanese team, the message was sent. The hesitation, the lack of strong positive signals, the indirectness, that was the feedback. That was the doubt or the disagreement.
Wow.
So misreading that silence, thinking it's agreement, that can completely halt progress or lead to major mistakes. For anyone in business, especially aiming for global roles, missing that is, it's costly.
You're missing the real sentiment.
Completely.
Okay, that links nicely to the second dimension, evaluating. Direct versus indirect negative feedback. This feels even more sensitive.
Oh, it definitely is. And this is where standard, feedback training you might get in an MBA program, it often falls short.
How so?
Because it focuses on delivery skills, but doesn't always account for cultural reception. A message delivered skillfully might still land terribly if it's culturally inappropriate.
Right. So some cultures are super direct, like the Dutch.
The Dutch, Russians, Israelis often value that blunt honesty. It's seen as constructive, but then you go to places like Thailand or Japan, and negative feedback is wrapped very carefully, subtly, often delivered privately.
Face saving is key.
Hugely important. Meyer had that example of the French manager and her Chinese team member.
Yes, the performance review.
The French manager thought she was being professional, constructive, just direct feedback.
But the Chinese team member felt publicly shamed, even in private.
Exactly. It was perceived as incredibly harsh, humiliating, led to total disengagement because that directness, without the cultural softening, violated the need to maintain face.
So being honest isn't always the most effective approach.
It's about being culturally intelligent with your honesty. adapting your tone, your approach, so the message can actually be heard and used rather than just shutting someone down. Crucial for any manager.
Makes sense. Okay, third dimension, persuading. Principles first versus applications first. This changes how you build an argument, right?
Absolutely. Think presentations, pitches, even internal debates. How do you convince people?
So Americans tend to be,
Applications first, generally. Show me the results, the practical use, the bottom line, quickly. Start with the what and how.
gets to the point.
Pretty much. But in principles first cultures, France, Germany, Italy, often they expect the why first. Lay out the theory, the logic, the background reasoning, build the conceptual framework before you get to the application.
It's like flipping the presentation structure.
Completely. And Meyer's example of the German consultants pitching to Americans really highlights this.
They lost the pitch, didn't they? Even though their logic was solid.
Yep. They built this incredibly rigorous theoretical case, deep logic, impressive stuff. But the American clients just found it too abstract, too slow. They wanted the results, the solutions for them.
They were waiting for the so what?
Essentially, yes. The content was great, but the order was wrong for that audience. So for you listening, if you're prepping a pitch or even a class presentation for an international audience, you have to think, do I lead with the big idea or the practical result?
Big difference in impact. Okay, number 4, leading. Egalitarian versus hierarchical. This must shape team dynamics massively.
Oh, hugely. This is all about power distance and expectations of the boss. Your leadership style needs serious flex here.
So egalitarian, like Scandinavia, flat structures.
Denmark, Sweden, Netherlands, often.
Oh.
Leaders are more like facilitators. Input is expected from everyone. You can challenge the boss.
Okay.
Then you shift to hierarchical cultures, China, Nigeria, India, many others, and there's a much clearer structure. The boss leads, makes decisions, and you generally don't question them openly.
So an egalitarian leader in a hierarchical setting might seem.
Rig, maybe. Indecisive, lacking authority. If you keep asking, what do you think? When they expect you to tell them what to do, it can be confusing.
Like the Swedish manager with the Indian team example.
Exactly. The Swede wanted collaboration, open discussion. The Indian engineers were waiting for clear directions, specific tasks. They felt uncomfortable directly challenging or offering unsolicited opinions to the boss.
Creates awkwardness, missed opportunities.
On both sides, the leader might think the team lacks initiative. The team might think the leader isn't leading effectively. Understanding those baseline assumptions about authority is just critical for anyone managing across cultures.
Definitely. Next, number 5, deciding. Consensual versus top-down. How decisions actually get made.
Yeah, and the key thing here is not to misinterpret the pace of decision-making.
How do you mean?
Well, in consensual cultures, Japan's the classic example, decision-making can seem really slow, painfully slow sometimes.
Because everyone needs to agree.
Exactly. It's about building group harmony, getting broad alignment before the decision is finalized, lots of discussion, lots of meetings.
But the upside is?
Once the decision is made, implementation is often incredibly fast. Everyone's already bought in. Contrast that with top-down cultures, the US. China can be like this. Decisions get made quickly, often by one person or a small group at the top.
Faster decisions.
Yeah.
Sounds efficient.
Initially, yes.
Yeah.
But then you might spend a lot more time and effort getting buy-in down the line, dealing with questions or even resistance during implementation.
So it's an inverse relationship. Slow decision, fast implementation versus fast decision, potentially slower implementation.
You got it. Meyer's example of the Japanese exec in the merger meeting, holding things up for weeks to build internal consensus.
While the Americans thought they were just being indecisive.
Right. The Americans saw foot dragging. The Japanese exec was ensuring future success by getting everyone aligned first. So, for you managing projects, understanding this rhythm is vital for setting realistic timelines and managing stakeholder expectations.
It's very insightful. Okay, 6th dimension, trusting. Task-based versus relationship-based. How do you build credibility?
This is so fundamental to how business actually happens. You need both trust currencies, as Meyer puts it,
Spaces.
competence and reliability. Think US, Netherlands, Germany. Trust is built by doing good work, being dependable, hitting deadlines. Your track record speaks for itself. Performance builds trust.
Makes sense. And relationship-based.
Think Brazil, Saudi Arabia, China, India. Trust comes first from the personal connection. Shared meals, getting to know each other, understanding family, values. It's about liking and knowing the person before you fully trust their professional competence.
Proximity before performance.
That's a great way to put it. The American startup trying to break into Brazil illustrates this perfectly.
Right, they had a great product but couldn't get deals signed.
Deals stalled and stalled. They focused purely on the business pitch, the product features. It wasn't until the CEO personally invested time, weeks, not days, building relationships, having dinners, sharing stories.
Then the deals started happening.
Exactly. The handshake on the contract followed the trust built person to person. In many cultures, no personal rapport means no business traction, no matter how good your offering is. So your networking, your sales approach, it has to account for this.
It's not just what you know, but who knows and trusts you.
Precisely.
Okay, nearly there. Number 7, disagreeing. Confrontational versus avoids confrontation. How conflict is handled.
This really dictates the tone of meetings, brainstorming, everything. My advice, set expectations early on any mixed team.
Because the definition of healthy debate varies wildly.
Hugely. In confrontational cultures, Israel, France, Russia, open disagreement, challenging ideas, it's often seen as positive. It shows engagement, helps refine thinking. It's not personal. Elsewhere, say Thailand, Indonesia, Japan, open confrontation is often deeply uncomfortable. It can cause a loss of face, damage harmony. Disagreement is handled much more indirectly, subtly.
Meyer's example of the Israeli and Thai managers.
A perfect storm, really. The Israelis were debating ideas vigorously, challenging everything standard practice for them.
And the Thais saw it as
Disrespectful, aggressive, personally offensive. They completely shut down, withdrew from the conversation.
Well, one side saw as brainstorming, the other saw as an attack.
Exactly. Even mild pushback can feel hostile in a non-confrontational culture. So as a leader, you need to be aware of this and maybe structure discussions differently, create safer ways for diverse viewpoints to surface without causing offense.
Tricky balance. And finally, number 8, scheduling. Linear time versus flexible time. How we perceive and manage time itself.
Yes, and this goes way beyond just being late or on time. It's a whole mindset about how life and work should flow.
Linear time. Germany, Switzerland. Schedules are king.
Absolutely. Time is managed, compartmentalized. Schedules are commitments. Sticking to the agenda is paramount. Efficiency is key. Deviation is problematic.
And flexible time. India, Nigeria.
Middle East, Latin America too. Time is more fluid, adaptable. Schedules are guidelines, not rigid rules. Relationships, unexpected events, and more important meetings can easily take precedence over the clock. Adaptability is valued.
This sounds like the German logistics firm and their Nigerian partners case.
Classic clash. The Germans had everything timed meticulously. Every handover, every step, precision.
And the Nigerians
operated with more flexibility, responding to immediate needs, prioritizing relationships, adapting the schedule as things came up, which, from the German viewpoint, looked like chaos and missed deadlines.
Huge tension.
Because time meant different things. For the Germans, a deadline was a fixed point. For the Nigerians, it was more like an estimate, contingent on other factors. So in global ops, you have to realize time isn't just a clock, it's embedded in the culture. Your project plan needs a cultural buffer.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot to take in. We've gone through all 8 dimensions. Let's just bring it together. For our MBA Book Club listeners, why does mastering this stuff really matter? What's the bottom line?
Well, the relevance is everywhere, isn't it? International M&A fails because of cultural clashes. Global teams underperform due to miscommunication. Think about your MBA global case studies, diverse teams, international trips. This is core stuff.
It's not just theory.
Not at all. It's practical D&I understanding how people operate differently. It's crucial for negotiation. For sales, knowing how trust is built or decisions are made changes your whole strategy. And for team dynamics, reducing friction, building morale, getting productivity up. Understanding these dimensions is key.
And Meyer gives us that tool, right? The culture map grid, where you can actually plot countries.
Yes, and that's where it becomes incredibly actionable. It's not just abstract dimensions.
What's the power of that grid, would you say?
The power is prediction and adaptation. You can literally see where potential clashes might occur between, say, your culture and a client's culture, or between members of your team. You can anticipate friction points around feedback or scheduling or decision-making.
So you can plan for it?
Exactly. You can consciously adjust your own style, maybe be more explicit in your communication, or build in more time for relationship building, or frame feedback differently. It helps you lead intentionally across cultures. It's like a cheat sheet for navigating interactions.
That's incredibly useful. So for everyone listening, especially our MBA Book Club folks, The big takeaways here seem to be, 1, cultural intelligence isn't optional, it's a core leadership skill now.
Non-negotiable.
2, it starts with self-awareness. You have to know your own cultural defaults first. Where do you sit on these scales?
Crucial first step.
3, there's no single right culture or style. Meyer's framework is about understanding and adapting, not judging.
It's about effectiveness, not superiority.
And finally, flexibility is your superpower. The best leaders read the situation, the context, the culture, and adjust. Authentically, but adjust nonetheless.
That sums it up perfectly.
So with all that in mind, here's something for you to think about. Reflect on your own career or even school projects. Have you ever experienced a cultural misstep or miscommunication? What actually happened, and what did you really learn from it?
Good question. Or maybe think about which of these 8 dimensions feels most often overlooked in typical leadership training you've seen.
Yeah, mull that over. How does this apply to your world?
And maybe a final, bigger thought to leave you with, pondering all this. Is there really such a thing as one universal global leadership style? Or is all effective leadership ultimately intensely local and needs that deep cultural adaptation?
Something to chew on, definitely. A provocative question from a book that really makes you think.
It certainly does.
Well, that brings us to the end of this MBA Book Club deep dive on Erin Meyer's The Culture Map. It really is like getting a translator for cultural mindsets.
A very valuable tool.
For more info on the book and our MBA Book Club, do check out the show notes. Thanks so much for tuning in today.
Thanks, everyone.
And we hope you'll join us for the next deep dive.
Thanks for joining us on the MBA Book Club, where business insight meets your next great read. If you enjoyed this episode, follow or subscribe wherever you listen, and never miss a beat on the book shaping tomorrow's leaders. Got a title you'd like us to cover? Reach out. We're always adding to the stack. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading, and keep turning the page.